What the is mindset? I read over 150 definitions of mindset starting from 1929 up until today. I've been researching, presenting, teaching, and coaching on the power of words and stories and mindset for the past 18 years. Before I give you what, in my personal and professional opinion, is the most clear, simple, and practical definition of mindset in the game, I'm going to read definitions of mindset from some names that you might recognize. Here we go. Dictionary.com. The established set of attitudes held by someone. Merriam-Webster. A mental attitude or inclination. Vocabulary.com. A habitual or characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. This is my favorite. American Psychological Association, a state of mind that influences how people think about and then enact their goal-directed activities in ways that may systematically promote or interfere with optimal functioning. I really need to work on my goal-directed activities. Oxford Dictionary, a set of attitudes or fixed ideas that someone has and that are often difficult to change. With a definition like that, it is going to be difficult to change your set of attitudes or fixed ideas. That's half the problem with mindset. When people say, I want to work on my mindset, it's hard to work on something when you don't have a good definition of what it is, a simple, practical definition of what it is. Let me translate that into the affirmative. It's easier to work on your mindset when you know what it is, and especially when you know what it's made of. This could be the most important video on mindset you ever watch, because there's a before and after moment when people realize what it is and then what it's made of. And when you have those two pieces of the puzzle, it's a whole lot easier to work on. Go ask 5 people that are into mindset, hey, what's mindset? You're very likely not going to get 5 definitions. You're going to get 5 explanations, because that's what happens when you have overly complicated definitions of things or ideas about stuff. They need to be explained. And most of the time, it's thoroughly explained. Overkill. Takes a while. Enlifted's definition of mindset, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the head coach of Enlifted. Enlifted's definition of mindset is the story that we tell ourselves. Your mindset is a story. We have stories about our bodies, our partners, our money. We have stories about our parents, our past, what's happening right now. You have a story about your mindset. Guess what those stories are made of? Words. They're made up of words. Your mindset is an ongoing story that's made up of words used in a certain way. It's hard to have a well-rounded conversation about mindset, as in a practical conversation about mindset, without having the definition of the victim mentality included, because that's why most people get into the game with mindset. Most people do not pick up a book on personal development when the sun's out and everything's going well. We've run a coaching certification. Most people do not book in for a mindset coach when everything's going great and they're like, yeah, I got this. They're struggling with something. They got a problem. They're stuck. They need some help. When we start scratching the surface of those issues, we find the victim mentality in all its glorious variety of flavors. The victim mentality has more flavors than Baskin-Robbins. And I invite you to get a pen and a piece of paper and write this definition down, because then that puts you in a very exclusive club. It's the verbatim definition of the victim mentality, and then you've put pen to paper. The victim mentality is an acquired personality trait where a person tends to regard himself or herself as the victim of the negative actions of others, even in the absence of clear evidence. The victim mentality depends on a habitual thought process and attributions. So that second sentence, very important. The victim mentality depends, as in it has to have, on a habitual, which accurately implies duration and addiction. Think of the person with the biggest victim mentality that you know. They're addicted to that thing. What's their life like? Lots of fun? Doubt it. The victim mentality depends on a habitual thought process. What's a thought process? Glad you asked. We all have one. It's how you put your words together. Thought process and attributions. What is a thought process made up of? Thought process is a fancy word for stories. It's just like belief systems. I've got all these belief systems. That's a fancy word for ideas. You know what ideas and opinions are made up of? Words. You know what a thought process is made up of? Words. You know what your mindset is? Your mindset is the story that you tell yourself about stuff. And that story is made up of words and breath. When someone says, oh, I see things so much differently now. Oh, you mean you're using different words? I changed my life. You know what your life is? Your life is a story. I changed my mind. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, well, change your mind. What does that mean? Oh, you're telling yourself a different story about stuff. Great. You mean you're using different words. So it keeps coming back to the words that you use. And this is the game that we play. This is the realm that Enlifted lives in and thrives in, is in the world of simply focusing on what words people are using to create the stories that they're telling themselves, which is their mindset. Most people think that they're big, huge, complicated problems. The answer has to be as equally big and huge and complicated. And I'm here to say that's almost always not the case. What is almost always the case is that the answer to those big, scary, complicated problems are simply the words that we're using on the regular, the habitual thought processes. It's a lot easier to work on something when you know what it is. I'm going to work on my mindset. Okay, cool. What's mindset? That's a fun exercise. It's a lot easier for people to work on their mindset when they know what it is, and especially when they know what it's mean. Okay, and we'll do other videos on the power of writing and how to do it well. I'm not talking about German. I'm talking about something way cooler and more effective. It's way easier to use different and better words when you know to use different and better words. It is that simple. So to recap, what's your mindset? It's a story that you tell yourself. What's it made up of? Words and breath, which is coming in another video. And if you want more videos on how to work on your mindset and get your language working for you and simplify this whole thing about mindset, then hit the subscribe button. If you like working on your mindset, hit the like button. This is a new channel, and we're going to be putting out a ton of great information. I'm Mark England. Thanks again for watching.